Good morning students. This is the revision video for unit test 1. For the preparation of unit test 1, you should all go through the notes and the question answer which are being provided to you with the videos. We will quickly wrap up the chapters which we are going to cover under unit test 1. The first one is in economics, the story of village Palampur. This is the story about a village which is named Palampur. It is a village which is well connected with a big village by the name Raiganj, that is 3 km from Palampur. The village is connected with all weather roads. All the facilities are there. There are many type of vehicles that people were using. If we talk about the people living in the country, in the town, there are 450 families in the village which belong to several castes. Out of 450, 80 families belong to upper caste. Rest of the families are from ST, that is about 1/3, and the remaining are from the other caste. These people, the people of SC/ST, they live in the outskirts of the village in smaller houses made of mud and straw. The people of upper caste, they live in the pakka houses. So this is the condition of people who are living in the village. Most of the houses have electric connections. And now what is the benefit of the electric connection? Due to with the help of electric power, all the tube wells in the fields are in use, so they can irrigate their land. Now they can run small businesses, and they get other facilities also with the help of electricity. They can go anywhere in night as well. So electricity is very much helpful for the people in the Palampur. In the village, they have the schools, one primary school, one high school. They have the other facilities like government hospital. There's the one private dispensary as well, where the sick people can be treated. It is an imaginary village, and if we talk about the activities which are done other than farming, there are small manufacturing units, transportation work is also done, shopkeeping. These are the main activities which are done in the Palampur other than agriculture. Now how to study all these activities which are done in the Palampur? What they do, they organize the production. It means they do the production work. So how these production work are being organized? It can be organized with the help of some items, or by fulfilling some requirements. These requirements are called the factors of production. With the help of these only you can do the production activity. So if we talk about these in detail, the main factors of production are land, labor and capital. Capital is further divided into two parts: physical capital and fixed capital. Physical capital and human capital. Physical capital can be divided into fixed and working capital. So all these we have studied in detail in the previous chapters, previous videos. So you should go through the videos, you should see, and you should study all these in detail. Right now we will talk about the land. which is the one of the most important factor of production, land. Land is, to study land is very important because we produce items on land. Land is used for agriculture, land is used for building homes, land is used for the installation of industries. All the work which we do for our livelihood are dependent on land. In the villages, most of the people are engaged in the farming activities. For that also they need land. But what is the main characteristic of land is that it cannot expand. It means we cannot increase the land. Why? Because the land is fixed. How much land we have that for our use, and that is fixed, that cannot be increased. Because the land area under our country, that is fixed, and we can use everything under that only. So is there any other way by which we can grow more crops on the same land? So that is there. Yes, we have some other ways. Just like if we talk about the people living in this village, what they do. This is a village in western part of Uttar Pradesh. So here people left no land idle. It means they cultivate on all the land. During the rainy season, farmers grow jowar and bajra. The plants are used for cattle feed. It is followed by the cultivation of potato in October to December. In the winter season, they grow wheat. So they take crops for 3 times in the year, and they remain no land idle because they have the irrigation facilities in their villages. Now it is important to increase the area under irrigation. Why? Because if we cannot increase the area under irrigation, then we will not be able to grow more crops on the same land. We will not be able to grow more, or we will not be able to get more production on the land because we are restricted for land. We cannot increase our land, we cannot produce new land. So to increase production, it is very important for us to increase the area under irrigation. Then we use the process of mixed cropping, which also helpful in increasing production. This is about the land. Many items are there which you can study how to increase production on the land. Now we will talk about the second factor of production, that is labor. Labor are very important as labor works on the field, labor works in the industries for production. In the villages, people get work in fields because there are no big industries in the villages. So there are a lot of people who are landless. So in the villages, people can easily get the laborers. There is no big, they do not face any problem in arranging the laborers for their farm and farm related activities. In the villages, because laborers are very high in number and they get work very irregularly, people get very less laborers or very less amount in return of their labor, and generally their wages are minimum than the lower than the minimum wage, which is fixed by the government. If we talk about the women worker gets lesser amount than the men workers. So this is how the situation of laborers is also not good in villages. They get a very smaller amount with that. So this is about this unit. You should read and you should go through the notes and the question answers which are being provided to you. Now we'll talk about the chapter in geography, that is India, size and location. India is one of the biggest countries in the world. By the view of population, we are second in the world. If we talk about the location of India, India is in the northern hemisphere of the world. Our extension is from 8 degree 4 minute north to 37 degree 6 minute north, and longitudinally 68.7 degree east to 97.25 degree east. So we are in the northeast of the world, very near to the equator. We are not on the equator, but we are very near to the equator. The Tropic of Cancer divides India into almost two equal parts. Not exactly, but almost it divides India into two equal parts. In the southwest of India, we have two islands of our country. These are the Andaman and Nicobar Island and Lakshadweep Island. These are the islands of our country. If we talk about the size, area of India is 3.28 million square kilometer, which is about 2.4% of total geographical area of the earth. So India is 7th largest country in the world. If you talk about the countries which are bigger than India, which have a greater area than India, or the countries larger than India, so there is Russia, the first country, the number one largest country in the world, Russia, then Canada on second place, then USA on third place, then China, then Brazil, Australia, and then India. So there are 6 countries which are larger than India: Russia, Canada, USA, China, Brazil, and Australia. Okay. Now if we talk about the countries that share boundaries with India, this is the map of India. Here we have Pakistan, then China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar. These are the countries which share land boundaries with India. Again, I am repeating: Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, China, and Pakistan. These are the countries which shares land boundaries with India. And then now we come to our water boundary. There are 2 countries, Sri Lanka, and one more island country is there in Arabian Sea, that is the Maldives, which is a bit away, so which cannot be seen in this map. So there are 2 island countries which share a boundary with India, Sri Lanka and Maldives. And there are few countries which share land boundaries with India: Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, Pakistan, China. China was never sharing countries with boundaries with India, but they acquire Tibet, so Tibet share boundaries with India. At the same, we have a boundary with Afghanistan as well, but that area is also under control of Pakistan. So basically, the countries which share boundaries with India are Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. So this is about the neighboring countries of India, countries which share boundaries with India. The land boundary is being shared by Pakistan, China, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Myanmar. The water boundary is shared by Sri Lanka and Maldives. India is one of the biggest countries in the land area, and it is also a big country as population as well. So it has very strategic importance. So because it is connected to the sea route as well, we have the two Arabian Seas and Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Indian Ocean in the foothills of India. So it is a very strategically very important in the world. We have a very central location in the world for the transportation as well. Now you should go through the exercise of this chapter. The question answers of this chapter are being provided to you in PDF. You should study these and get all the answers. Now we will revise something in history as well. In the history, you will be asked to study the chapter 1 French Revolution for the preparation of exam. It starts from the incidents of 14 July 1789 when the people in France stormed into Basilia. They destroyed the king's fortress and imprisoned the king and arrested him, and he was then killed by the people of the country. Why all these happened? Because of the hierarchical system of the society, the system which was followed in the France, which that includes 3 estates, first, second, and third estate. In the first estate, that is called clergy, the people related to church. Then the second state, nobility, the people related to court. And then the third state, it is also divided into 3 parts. Big businessmen, merchants, court officials, lawyers were in the first category. Then the peasant, artisan in second category, and the small peasant, landless laborers, and servants in the third category. Louis XVI became the king of France in 1774 at the age of 20 years. As he ascended the throne, what he sees that the financial condition of France was very weak because they were continuously in the war with England. So, and they need to maintain a large army. They need to maintain the lavish expenses of the court. So and they were helping the American colonies to gain their free independence from Britain. So all these creates extra burden on the country's economy. So what he done, he has only one way, that is to increase tax. And for increase, so they try to increase tax. At the same time, the France was facing a severe crop failure, so people were struggling to get their food. They were surviving they were struggling for the survival. They were not getting food. Even the condition was that much bad that they were facing the subsistence crisis. It means they were very much very people in France, they were not getting the food as well. So by all these, the people were very much angry with the government, and they started revolution. They fight against the monarchy. Then they established the rule of they established directory rule, in which they formed a committee of 5 people. That was not successful. Then the Robespierre became the president of France. He also ruled as a dictator. So again his government got failed. Then they have the constitutional monarchy, then the Robespierre government, then they have the directory rule, in which 5 people were appointed, but that was not successful. So in the end, what happened, that the Napoleon came into the power in France. Napoleon was in the army of France. He was a soldier in France, but when he sees the conditions of France, he took power through a military coup and became the king of France. Though he was a dictator, but he declared himself the king of France. But he has taken many steps which were very good for the France. Just like he abolished slavery. Then he has given a common system of weight and scale. He introduced many laws such as protection of private property, uniform system of weight and measure, and many other good modernized rules for women as well. So Napoleon is seen as the liberator of France. He has made France a liberal country. So this is about all. Now you should go through the PDFs which were being provided to you earlier and prepare for your test. Thank you.